In the commercial world, I'm known for doing a lot of tabletop and studio work, and I shoot a lot of jewelry, cosmetics, luxury goods, liquids. I don't like my pictures to be stiff, and so I try to infuse some wit and humor and technique to give a lot of dynamism and movement to the photographs. My fine artwork is a bit more serious, but it has that same sort of movement and texture. An inherent part of my work is bringing the detail of things to the surface. And it means the tiniest little detail, whether it be the hair on someone's arm or the facet of a diamond or, an infinitesimal drop of water. So that's what I'd say I'm known for, discovering new ways to see the unseen and to make the impossible possible. One of my favorite photographs is one I call the purple shoe splash. And it's memorable to me because, again, the process involved was many, many stepped and multi-layered. I had a job shooting paint, and at the time I had never actually thrown paint. I'd thrown milk and water and all kinds of viscous liquids, but I'd never actually thrown paint. And so we set up a studio, we wrap it in plastic. My assistant, Mike, had offset a plexiglass cup filled with purple paint. He threw it in the air, and all of us on set looked, and we couldn't believe it. We looked at each other with surprise, and we said, "Was that really?" And then we turned to the monitor, and sure enough, there was this image of a purple shoe suspended in the air. There's something very interesting about holding an actual print of an image, especially sort of an iconic one, because the pictures exist in so many ways. There are little thumbnails on the monitor. We make it small, we make it medium, we make it large. But when you actually hold the print, it becomes this three-dimensional thing. It's a perfect punctuation point for a photograph. There are many ways that we show our images to art directors and clients now. Obviously, on a website, we bring our iPad to a meeting. But there is nothing like the impact of when I bring, my portfolio is relatively large, and when I plonk that thing down on the table, and when an art director takes the print and turns the page, they react in a completely different way than when they're looking at an iPad. On an iPad, it's this. And when they're turning the page of a portfolio with prints, you literally hear the oohs and the ahs. With my fine artwork, the longevity and the permanence of a print is supremely important, not just for me, but even more so for the collectors, because they buy work to have a long life. The more collectible an image is, the more it's going to get put up on the wall, the more permanent it is, the longer it's going to look exactly like it was the first day they bought it. I've been asked if the print today is relevant with my fine artwork, and the only way I can answer that question is by saying that the print is my fine artwork. It's the goal. I take the picture, I have a beautiful image, I see it on the monitor, I work on it in my digital darkroom, but my end goal is to have this beautiful, textured, layered print. With this new ink technology that EPSON has, it makes the print everything. And all the sweat equity and the intellectual equity that we put into our image making, the print becomes a goal, and we have this thing to hold in our hands, and it's a ready-made legacy.